God damn it. You. Are now about to witness. Almost did it. What was I gonna say? The awesome, crushing might. Almost not awesome, almost not crushing of Woo! Welcome, my friends, to a show that takes half an hour to start before it almost ends. I am your host, Eugene S. Change the locale, change the location, change the pace. Yes. Round number 272. Oh, that's nice. Breakfast. On the occasion of UFC Fight Night London, also known as UFC FN 107. A fight which had the main card being a not care, and oh, was I wrong? Was I woefully wrong? And I stand corrected. As you all breathe a sigh of relief. But first, the words that say it all. Stigmata, calling it a just, intro, all of nothing. Bob Riley says it best. Listen and viddy well, brothers, sisters. I'm on my way back to nowhere. I took my time, but I could not see too clear. I'm taking a real good look at you. Taking a real good look at your face. Being paid back in full, always nothing. All right. Listen, I hate to pull back the curtain and explain to you, but I figured it was the Wi-Fi. So now, like a squirrel, I'm huddled up against the whatever that black box is called that brings you the magical signals from Comcast to the internets. And so, like, I'm sitting next to the box. Like, I'm actually in another room next to the box. Dude next door starts weed whacking. It's really noisy. I go, okay, I'm going to start at 10. It'll be great. I'll start at 10. It'll be, because I got to train. I got to get out of here. And I got a show later on. I got to, put my head into the other show live with Juju. I'm doing some spoken word stuff, some stuff from my next novel, Love, ? Love, ! And then I said, fuck that. Some snarky commenter, but hey, why don't you just get it? Chip in and get, I think it was Smirk, get Eugene a cable. I go, fuck, I got a cable. It's like when Travis Bickle calls for a cab. He goes, fuck, I got a cab. I got a cable. I plugged the cable in, and creeping Jesus, the little Google Hangout thing gets to 99%, and then it goes, and it just hangs out there. And I type in help, and sure enough, in help, everybody's at, it takes me to 99%. It just hangs there. Hangout just hangs. And I figure it's because I haven't paid my cable bill, which I haven't. And I figure they just press a little button like net neutrality be damned, press a little button to slow things down. So you call up to complain, and then they say, oh, by the way, you haven't paid your bill. And I go, oh, bill. You know, the wife actually found some video from me playing a show in like 1985 when she was like 2 years old. And it was about 10 minutes of video with me with my other band. And of that 10 minutes, 2 solid minutes was dedicated to me complaining about having no money. Some things never change. Anyway, listen, here we are on the occasion of, well, like I say in the intro, a sigh of relief over a surprisingly refreshing card. Manly, yes, but I like it too. You know, a UFC Fight Night London, UFC 107. Look at. I don't know if you can see it with the glare. Let me see. These are Kid Nate's. These are Kid Nate's picks, and these are mine. And I don't even have a headliner. And Tom Breeze is yanked off the card. We'll get to that later. So that means I only had 2 fights going into it, but I watched every single one, and I have to say I was fucking wrong. But listen, that's not about me in accountability. The issue in my mind is if I go to a restaurant and get food poisoning, or if I buy, let's go back to the drug analogy. If I get violently ill from some narcotic I purchased from you, and then I got violently ill a second time, and then I get violently ill a third time, I'd have to be a fool to dig in for a fourth time, wouldn't I? In fact, I could safely assume that because you sold me bunk drugs 3 or 4 other times, that the next time I gotta go to somebody else. I'm sorry, I gotta go to somebody else. Unfortunately, in this instance, you know, some people now in the comments are saying you got to go to boxing, but MMA is dead. Boxing is ascended. This is why Conor McGee is going there. It's like, and then I realized a voice of reason, the last truly free voice, according to Cabaret Voltaire, last truly free voice in America. I got to speak out. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. If I found out, look, the Whipping Boy, the band that the wife was looking at the videos of, we played one show that we got paid $1,000 for in 1980, $85, $86. That was a lot of money for us. You know, we'd go play punk rock shows. They give you $50 and they try to beat you out of the $50. You catch the promoter going to his car. Where you going? Oh, I left my bag in the car. You left your bag with the money in the car? Well, we'll walk you there. It's not like I'm going to run off. Oh, yeah, my friend. Yeah, we'll walk you to the car. So this guy pays us $1,000, right? It didn't make a difference to me that he had silver spray painted boots and a silver spray painted cowboy hat with aluminum on it and a vest that was also painted silver and a megahorn. I didn't care. Gave me the cash and I was there. My point is that Conor McGee, if he sees an entire stadium full of fucking lunatics, he would be a lunatic to not go and relieve them of their cash. It doesn't mean that boxing is ascendant just because you got boxing fans. Look, there are lots of reasons why people don't like MMA. I had a friend in high school who said, I hate tattoos. I go, man, I love them. I want to. My mother said, as soon as I can't get them while I live here, but as soon as I get out of this house, he goes, oh, you might regret it. I said, I'm not, what? I would regret my arm sooner than I would regret a tattoo. And if I don't like it, I can cover it. And he's like, I go, why don't you like them? And I had other friends say, I don't like needles. And I had one friend said, I don't like green. Green? What are you talking about? Every tattoo I've seen has been green. I don't like green. Technically, he's right. These, I don't know if you can see the color correction. These tattoos I have are actually black. They use black ink. I saw the ink on paper. Come in my skin, it's green. So, you know, there's some people, their elemental dislike of something can confuse you. I know guys who are not into wrestling, right? Like Bob Arum said about MMA, tattooed, you know, I think he even called us gay. Tattooed gay dudes rolling around. You got to get beyond that. You got to get beyond that, because fundamentally, what people who understand MMA understand is that we're talking about aggregate total dominant, like winning. Just because you can box doesn't mean you're going to win in a fight. And the Ultimate Fighting Championship was started it was based on the Gracie Challenge. Yeah, I'm not giving you a history lesson here. I got to get to it. Out of all, you know, somehow we're going to market this shit. I think we can beat any other martial art out there. And that's what it was started on. Boxing is a very specific skill set. So people who like that skill set it's accounted to the people who don't like green. I don't like any kind of tattoo because I don't like green. Well, what about a red tattoo? I I didn't ask him that because at that point there weren't a lot of colored tattoos. So you got people who are just going to do the boxing thing. And if you're, you can say categorically as an MMA fighter, I'm not interested in boxing. It's a small skill set. I know. Look at James Toney. Look what Randy Couture did to James Toney. Randy Couture killed James Toney. Yeah. The reality of it is, you ever try a shoot on the sidewalk? There was a guy when I was in high school in New York was getting mugged, shot in on a guy. And of course, his knee shouldn't have tapped the ground. His knee tapped the ground, cracked his kneecap on the concrete, ended up getting beaten up and robbed. Now, I've seen YouTube video where the cab driver, some Armenian cat, gets into a fight with a pedicab guy, and the pedicab guy goes, Animal Kingdom, tries to keep his profile high to dwarf the other guy. The other guy goes, shoots in, takes him a single leg, sweeps him, knocks him down, and then pummels him from the top. It's pretty clear that if we're concerned about warrior shit, two men fighting over the spoils of war, or men or women, two athletes, warriors, whatever, fighting over something, that boxing is a specific skill set, but it doesn't matter because you have a traditional nostalgic love or a present love for the sweet science, and it is a science. Watch it for the life of me, trying to figure out the minute adjustments that these boxers are making. But it was ruined by the guys, the same people who were, well, it's different. Wrestling was ruined by guys who were wrestlers, right? Lou Thez, one of the original Rippers, call themselves Rippers, was back there with Carl Gotch and Ed the Strangler Lewis. Again, not history lesson for you, but said, you can't fight legitimately every night. We had to fight every night to make money. That's where the works came from. But boxing, boxing was just outpaced by guys who were smarter. You're taking a few shots to the head, guy starts talking to you about cash and he buys you a car, you're in. So boxing was ruined in a different way. It doesn't change the fact that there are still millions of people who will pay lots of money for boxing. And if you're a combat athlete and you have a finite period of time to get over and done, there's not that many Bernard Hopkins out there. There are many more Evander Holyfields who lose everything, can't get accredited, can't fight, and are trying to figure out where the next check is going to come from. There's some rumors that Floyd Mayweather is hurting for money. I find it hard to believe, but a few bad investments can make anybody hurt for money. And then we're back to rich versus wealthy. So you're Conor McGee, and it's like your time is really limited. He knows this. He knows this. He's opened the door. People got the style. They saw what Nick did. There was a stink around the second fight. Nate. And now everybody is trying to play that lottery thing, including the guy who introduced the lottery. That would be Conor McGee. He's going to take it straight to the boxing thing. And Dana This White finally told us what we've been saying for a long time. It's going to happen. Maybe June. We don't know. It makes sense. And you know what? You can tell the drumbeat of inside defenders who are making claims about, well, if he gets him in the early rounds, he's rangy, from Joe Rogan to Nate himself. It's good for business. It's good for business. He loses and goes back to MMA with, a dint of vulnerability. And all of a sudden, the game gets exciting. You match him against a guy that you wouldn't have matched him against before, maybe a Joe Duffy, and you got some juice. It's not the biggest fight, but, Khabib is not in consideration. In other words, in the next 12-month period, Conor McGee, presuming he fights, is going to lose. He's going to lose. It's inevitable. But if we want to stage manage it, having him lose against a Tony Ferguson helps who? I'm talking about WME shit. It helps who? You put the mic in front of Tony Ferguson, and what do you get? Kid Nate likes him, and I like him for the strain of mean that comes with Tony Ferguson, but that doesn't really mean shit to me. Because the entertainment value of mean is really limited. Really limited. So, against Khabib, doesn't matter. That guy's trouble in the making. Khabib beats Conor McGee, and what? Yeah, he's got the whole Dagestani thing. Is he going to show up for his next few fights? What about Nate rounding out the trilogy? That's got juice over it. If you think Nate's losing that fight, there's not going to be a quadrangle. Quartet, sorry. It's not going to happen. Yes, the insufferable goon says it's not going to happen. So smartest move is, if I'm 28 years old and I got 12 more years to make money that's going to last me the remaining 40 years of my life, what do I do? What do I do? And, you know, we could just keep a separate list of people who are now making bank, more money outside of the UFC, but inside WME than there ever were before. Commercials, guest spots, commercials. You know, it's a feeder trough, and you don't have to have the same kind of Q rating. You just have to have a little bit. You get somebody like Conor McGee, he's got a little too much. In other words, you can't introduce him as a bit character in a movie without everybody going, rip. So he's got to do the boxing thing. It's good for business. He loses, and maybe he peels off, you know, maybe he revives himself, and therefore MMA revives himself in MMA. Maybe he pulls over some boxing fans. It's like, I want to see that fool, because they've got to glimpse his antics and fall in love Q rating style with his antics. If he beats Mayweather, it doesn't change boxing fans who won't come over because of the whole naked, half naked tattoo homosexual thing. Won't come over. Maybe it peels some over, and he beat a depleted and for all time will be the one guy on the record. And now, you know, we'll give the wrestlers a sense maybe they've got a chance. Keep from getting pegged going in. Take them down, beat them up on the ground. But this is good. So the commenter who said, I think that you're souring on MMA, you don't have the same enthusiasm. I go, I'm an MMA obsessive, but the business of it ruins everything. I'm a musical art obsessive. But I realized if I was going to stay in it for the long term, I had to stop doing the business. I was pouring gasoline over the front of guys' places of businesses because they wouldn't pay me for records that they had sold. That's not a way. That's not a way to start out your week. It was making me hate what I was doing. So I said, I fired myself. I'll make a decision here or there, but I'm largely not doing business. It got me confused about why I was there. A guy like Conor McGee, business it's a 360-degree fight game. So this is nothing. This is nothing. I'm an MMA obsessive, but the business part of it will make you crazy. And the 3 fights that we saw showed me, much like America, that we were adrift. Now, what happened with this one? The same formula that we identified a couple shows ago. Regional. All politics is local. Fight in London, dragged out a bunch of British fighters who had some juice, maybe in the first batch of guys that they tried to develop when they were bringing Bisping up and trying to and dumping all this money. And what did these guys have in common? A lot of them were straight up boxing guys. Manoa, Duffy, Arnold is numero uno. Their base was Arnold Allen. Their base was boxing. And they comported themselves well, not desperation driven, like, oh man, this is my one chance because, you know, they're never going to be here again. Like, you know, when the Australian fighters and Brian Ebersol was like, shit, I I gotta, no, this is a very different thing. Nobody, no Brit wants to be beaten by an American in London. No way, no fucking way, no way, no way, no way. And so once again, the formula stuck true. Get guys, get motivated participants, and you got something. So going through the card, finally, yes, sorry. Again, the don't cares. I'm only tuning into the don't cares if you all are letting me know. And somebody said, "Oh man, Landsberg and Pudilova," and I'm not going to start with the end. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start with the end because that's more compelling and that's on everybody's mind. Manoa and Anderson. This was an incredible fight because it did a couple of incredible things. It got the watch list. It wasn't a fight I gave a shit about. Manoa has been, in my mind, not a reliable quality, and Corey Anderson is. So I felt bad, but come on, bro. I'm not, headlining. Come on. But magically, these guys both thrust themselves onto the Lost Battalion watch list. I don't think I've ever had that happen before, where they both have separate. First of all, I have to say that Anderson probably got hit hard enough where he jumped up and they interviewed him afterward. What was he saying? He said, "Oh man, Matter was great, man. He knocked me the fuck out, man. It was." Hey man, hey man. You're 25, but do you hear that music? You know what that music is? That's a fat lady. And she's singing. She's singing for you. You're enthusiastic about it? Man, that was great. That was great. That's the kind of thing where people in your corner and people who care about you are starting to look at each other like, you gonna talk to Corey? and with your foolishness, you got Manoa sufficiently gassed up where he's like, "Hey, yo, I'm in line. I got to stand up. Now's my time. I got to take the winner of the Cormier." Okay. I got to take the winner of the Cormier Rumble fight. Fuck out of here. Don't let Stipe fool you. Don't let the smooth things fool you. If you think that as a point of pride, Cormier is going to stand with you, it's not. That's not the grind he's talking about embracing. and if Rumble wins the fight, you got your work cut out for you, brother. So both of these guys are. What is that? It's a Lost Battalion watch list, sir. I mean, I'm saying that Corey Anderson is, I'm waiting to see him do some press conference later where he starts doing the belt, the universal. Where's my belt side? Your belt. It's with your pants in your locker. Get it on the way out. So, yeah, it was. I mean, the British fans. It was great. Manoa did look great, and he comported himself well afterward. He was like, "Ooh," and he walked around. And at first, I thought the British crowd was being uncharacteristically quiet. And at first, I thought this was, because Negroes paranoid about stuff like this. At first, I thought it was like, hey, maybe the Casey, maybe they're not cheering for him because he's not British. He's some, he's from the colony. But then, Arnold Allen is like, please love me. And I go, you know what it is? It's the same reason that Morrissey left England. As soon as you win, You think America doesn't love winners. Yeah, no. It's different. America doesn't love winners, really. They say they do, but they don't. But Brits don't like those who have won. Oh, you think you're so good, huh? That whole Martin Short, Jiminy, not Jiminy Snicket, whatever his name is, Jiminy, whatever his Inside Hollywood, that Martin Short character, Jiminy, I can't remember his last name. You can text it to me during the show. He said that character comes from he's got relatives who are Scottish or something, and he just came from holiday dinners with them. Yeah, it's amazing that you're a star. There's a certain kind of dullness about you, but I guess anything in America. So I was like, once you this kind of passive aggressiveness, I got a guy named Dave McGonigal who's been after me for years. Like he's I'm a journalist. Okay, Dave, you're a journalist. I mean, you get your PhD in chemistry or whatever, but you're a journalist. Let's do an interview. Let's waste our time an hour. He goes, oh man, fuck, I'm sorry. Tape recorder's not working. Huh. Does this a second time. And I don't get it, right? I don't get it. Does it a third time? He goes, oh, no, the tape recorder's working now. Great. Never publishes the piece. We put up the Oxbow music video, first video ever of the first song of the first record in 10 years. His only comment is an article from Pitchfork about songs where you whistle are the bane of society. I go, you win. You got the award for passive aggressiveness. Welcome to the UK. Fuck you. So then I realized that was the case, but Manoa's thing was perfectly matched to the audience's tone and timbre. Like, ooh. And that was it. Corey was jumping up saying fool shit. Gunnar Nelson and Alan Juban. This was a battle of the pretty guys, but not so significant. It wasn't like Raging Bull where they say, yeah, he ain't so pretty now. No, Juban still looked pretty afterward. Got the fuck out of there, going home, take my check. Good luck, see you later. But the reality of it is that fight was won in a different place. Yeah, I know. I picked Gunny to win. He's out. He's the only win I had on the card, actually. I only had 3 picks on the card. 1 fight was scratched. So I'm 1 for 1, I guess. But Gunny losses in a really interesting way. Q rating style. Dan Hardy puts a mic in front of his face and Gunny is talking and you're like, what? I'm sorry, were you saying something? And they're talking, oh, his goal is not just to be his goal is to be a legend, Hall of Fame. And he starts talking and I like what is the word? Phlegmatic. Stolid. I've had good times in Iceland. Outside of the whole penis thing, and I don't want to get into that. Donna Shalala, let's do an old show. Went out to Blue Lagoon. You take a shower, and then before you get into the Blue Lagoon, you have swim trunks. You don't go in naked, but you got to get in the shower. Old dressing room full of guys watching your unit. And I realized, oh, you don't get a lot of me here. Stop staring at my penis. Fight in a dressing room of Icelanders, even though I don't imagine many of them were Iceland. If you live there, you don't do it. I've never been to the Statue of Liberty. I lived in New York, my whole 18 years. Sorrel, Dream Crusher Sorrel, has never been to Corcovado. Lived in Rio his whole life. You just don't do it. So maybe these were guys from other places. Anyway, Juban leaves just as handsome as when he came, going back to whatever modeling gig or whatever the fuck he does when he's not doing this. Gunny, but he was so anti-charismatic, it was almost charismatic. Like Oleg Toktarov style. Like you wouldn't even know he had a fight. It was a marvel because then really nice jiu-jitsu though. Really nice jiu-jitsu. Really nice jiu-jitsu. Ripping through Brad Pickett, and some of you will follow me on Twitter at Eugene S. Robinson. You saw that was painful, man. Really, really actually pretty painful. And it was an unenviable task. And I have to say that Chico Vera pulled it off. Because he didn't want to be that guy. He didn't want to be that guy to beat the guy. Also, he didn't want to be beaten by the guy. He had a long time to wrap his head around it, but being in the cage, you know, suddenly the audience is like, ah, fuck this, fuck it. But he was so clearly overcome with emotion, like what he had done and how he. It's like, man, it's like you have perfectly embodied the spirit of how it is that we feel about what's just happened. Tough shit, man. Even though, and he got on his knees in front of the guy like he was gonna fillet him, I got a little nervous. You know, okay, buddy. You know, I don't want to feel great about this, but you know. And Brad Pickett was like, yeah, you know, that's what this game is about. I kind of, in my heart of hearts, wish he had said something like, that's why I'm fucking leaving. You know, so I'm fucking leaving. Fuck you. It's terrible. It's miserable. I don't like this. But in that, you know, this is a microcosm. If you're anybody but Conor McGee, look at that fight and look at that fight well. I'm going to retire. This sport has given me so much. And a kick in the head. Not Dean Martin style. Ain't that a kick in the head? How lucky could one guy be? I hugged her and she hugged me. As a fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head? Not a good thing. And I picked Pickett to win. Somebody said, you ruined your count. I don't give a fuck. I wouldn't have picked against dude. But it was nice. You have a guy, he's got the whole family thing. His daughter's sick. Ecuador, up and coming, trying to make a name for himself. You know, he didn't ask for the fight. Well, did he ask for the fight? I don't know if he asked for that. He was a last-minute replacement. He was motivated. Now, Keith, also known as Sean Shelby, is making picks that, I mean, maybe in conjunction with, maybe the WME people have said, we don't know what the hell is going on, but this is what we're looking for. Maybe you can help us. Like when you go into the paint store. I don't know what the hell is going on with this paint, but this is what I'm going to do in that room. High traffic room. Oh, you need a semi-gloss. You know, you go to the professionals that help you. So sad to see Pickett go out like that, but Pickett had to go out because it was going to be more of that, right? You got to understand when you're anywhere from not in the top five, no, well, you know, like, people are not really paying attention to helping you very much. And this is what some of the guys have said who had been there and then are in the top five and like, where's my help? Well, you're on your own, buddy. The guys who are not being helped, because at the point where you're in the top five, they're thinking about cash. And if you're not in the top five, they're just not thinking about you. Arnold Allen defeated Americani. There was some good jiu-jitsu there. It was a split decision. And I think it went the right way. But you know what happens when a fighter is asking people to love him? You want to push back from the table. Or a musician. You know, you ever see a musician on stage in the punk rock days, it'd be guys begging the audience to dance. Come on, get in that pit. With, you know, I mean, a lot of times in publishing, they figured out that people won't do things unless they have a reasonable expectation that you want them to do things. Click on this button. It means they want me to click on this button. You know, the button that says thumbs up. So I'll click on it. Or if I'm a contrarian, I'll click on the thumbs down. I'll do something. I didn't realize an action was required of me. So Arnold gets in there and he's like saying, why can't I want you to love me? Why don't you get a little love behind? And at that point, the entire London audience was like, you don't understand London. For you Americans, let me explain London to you. London is a crueler New York, if that's possible. A New York crowd would be like, boo, fuck you. And Arnold's heartfelt desire to be loved, the London crowd was like, hey, get me another beer, will you? Speaking of which, I got a joke for you. Listen, a horse walks into a bar, right? sits down on the bar stool. Bar guy goes up. He goes, "What can I do for you?" He goes, "I'll have some Pappy Van Winkle, the most expensive whiskey you have. I have 2 of those. And I'm going to wash it down with some expensive brandy. And I'm going to, and give me some Dom Perignon on top of that as a chaser. Dom Perignon all the way." Bartender goes, "Okay," lines the shit up. The horse throws it all down. Horses are huge. They throw it all down. And the horse is sitting there. The guys look at the horse. The horse goes, "Oh, man. I really shouldn't have done that because of, what I got." And the bartender goes, "Oh, my God, what do you got, And the horse says, "I got a quid and a carrot." A quid and a carrot! That's a great fucking joke. Anyway, I told my wife that joke, and she just looked at me like. In fact, she hasn't stopped looking at me like that since I told it. So I'm going to keep telling it till I get it right. Anyway, but then Joseph Duffy against Reza Madadi. Sad to see the old dude go out. I didn't have a pick for this fight. It was a solid fight. Sad to see old dudes go out that way. Joe Duffy, I regret the bet on Care Don't Care. I regret the things I said about Joe Duffy. I regret them. Yeah, you see what's happening? I'm like Herbert Lom from the Pink Panther. I got twitches. It could be the Dark Rage. I don't know. So, but Joe Duffy, I think is legit. He actually has, for me, moved from don't care to care. He should have been on care before, but I figured, every now and then, a blind mouse gets some cheese. Fuck that guy. But solid. Does he have the gift of gab? Oh well. If you're a satellite to the McG, to the planet McG, it might be a little bit tough. But solid acquitting. And let's see, Barroso and Stewart didn't care about that. Didn't watch it. No, I mean, I had the fight on. I had to piss. And then I had to piss, and then I had to feed Popeye. And I had to Popeye, and I had to let Popeye out. And then I had to put some dishes in the dishwasher because I couldn't stand it. And when I came back, the close fight was a unanimous decision. I don't know if it was worth watching, but none of yous texted me about it. You didn't. And I didn't watch Omiyan Chuck. Under normal circumstances, I would have picked him because he was Polish, but like I said, I thought he's underperformed, and I wouldn't have picked him. But I didn't give a crap about Timothy Johnson, so I didn't watch that either, and nobody told me to watch it. However, you did tell me to watch Leon Edwards versus Vicente Luque. Solid fight. Unanimous decision. Wasn't a snoozer. It was a solid fight. And then where are we here? The Casey. Timu Pakalin. That was beautiful. And if you don't think that the people, the men and women at WME are not, it's like that guy once said, that guy from that band, Deerheart. Some bands bring a little bit of America, to Europe. Oxbow brings a little too much. Well, that was the old days. Things have changed. But I think it's the other way with this guy. I think DeCasey brings a little. I think that they're cracking bottles of champagne in LA about this guy. The kind of shit that he was saying will get stony silence in London, but that shit plays well in America. I am the greatest. I'm the best there ever was. If we were relying on the British press, to the British press's response to the Beatles saying we're bigger than Christ, it didn't play as well there as it did in America. It was phenomenal. You ever see a guy get knocked out like that? Leaning Tower of Pisa style. In what? How long did it take? 30 fucking seconds. Again, Packlin this wasn't like just a gimme. This was low, as low on the card as it was. This was a win for WME. A win. And understand it. The significance of it and from a fight perspective, completely insignificant. From a WME perspective, huge. Huge. What are you going to do with this guy? He's got the accent. He's got the looks. He's got the little shtick afterward. He's got the hair color. He's got I mean, it's the Jim Kelly syndrome, though. You got a guy who's so fucking charismatic that it's like, you're making the screen look small. We're just going to go with Chuck Norris over here. But that didn't do Packlin any favors. He's made highlight reels forever. Him and Mac Danzig. I had a friend named Mark Danzig. Well, he's still alive, I'm hoping. So I do have a friend named Mark Danzig. Mac. Bradley Scott and Scott Askham. Well, just don't, you know what, man? Yeah, okay. And Lena Landsberg and Lucy Pudilova. Yeah, that was the intro fight. I watched half of that, and then I had to piss again. I had to piss a lot yesterday, apparently. I don't know why. So Kid Nate did quite well. He picked Duffy won. He picked Vera won. He picked Gunny won, and he picked Corey Anderson, and Corey Anderson definitely did not win. So he's got 3 right and 1 wrong. I've got 1 right and 1 wrong. What does that mean? Could one of you statistics people out there figure out? I guess I got 50-50 to Kid Nate's. He's got 1 wrong and 3 right. So he's got 25%. It's not even fucking funny. I know it's not even funny. What we're getting paid tonight at the chapel in San Francisco, once again, if you want to get into the show, let me know, tweet me, or text me, take the quiz, I'll put you on the list. But I just had one backing guy, this guy Adam Baum, the guy who plays the Thin Black Duke in the Oxbow video. He's gonna play bass. And Nico, Oxbow guitar player, said, "Hey, I wanna, can I play?" I said, "Fuck, come on, play." He goes, do I get some of the money? I go, "Yeah, I'll give you a third." He goes, "So how much would that be?" And I'm like, "Well," and I'm doing and the rest of the band is staring at me. Are you fucking kidding? I almost took out a piece of paper and a pencil and I was like, "Hey, man, let me see you write an article. I'll ask you to do that shit. I'm not so strong in the math. I mean, come on, I went to a math and science high school. I could do it if I tried. I'm really forced, but those are days long gone." So anyway, so UFC Fight Night 107 London was they don't have to be, again, I don't know if we've even talked about this before. They don't have to be home runs. And you're not, that's not even the point. They're not going to be home runs. They're not going to be home runs. You know what they're going to be? Singles, 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 home run, single, single, single. That's the rhythm that you should get used to. So what I'm going to do is to measure by the growth deltas is pointless. You have to measure it in aggregate. So I was a hysteric. I was Chicken Little the last few fights. I admit it. And you guys followed my lead, and some of you were like, "Oh, this is it. MMA is done. We're finished." But it was the commenter who said, "Listen, man, your attitude fucking sucks." And I had to say, look, I had to look deep inside myself. And I said, "No, I'm an MMA fight obsessive. I'm still excited about it, but I'm panicking. You've seen me on past shows. You know I'm prone to panic. I panic easily." That's what we're watching 300, and we're laughing about, just talk about honor and death. And it's like, Hey, Eugene is not a coward, but Eugene is not stupid either. I'm not fighting 10,000 Persians when I only got 300 guys. I'll be over here in the tall grass. Let's march over to get the Persians. And then Eugene's going to veer off to the right. Oh, shit, I left my sword back in the village with all the women. I'll be right back. What's that? Fuck that. Hey, there's this guy I know. Well, actually, I know the girl. And she said she and her boyfriend were walking through the projects. And she felt safe because she was with her boyfriend. They get surrounded. They're getting approached by a gang of young toughs. And dude starts walking faster. And she's like, I'm with my dude. And then she notices dude is like 20 feet ahead. And then they get braced by the young toughs. And the young toughs go, yo, hey, he's black, she's white. Said, yo, and this is not me. Says, yo, is that your girlfriend? The dude goes, no. and they're like, oh, and they let him pass. And so they start talking to her. Like, hey, she goes, I'm with my boyfriend. He said, that's not what he said. You mean that dude over there? That dude was walking very quickly out of the project. And she was like, well, okay. Okay. We're sleeping together in a non-committed relationship, committed relationship. And later she gave him a hard time. He goes, oh, I thought you were right there. That was cowardly. That wasn't, it may have been smart and cowardly, but it was cowardly. I'm not talking about cowardly. Look, you give me 10,000 Spartans, I'll be glad to fight 10,000 Persians. I'm not fighting 10,000 Persians when there are 300 of us. That shit is ridiculous. I got a kid, got some women back in the town. I'll see you later. Well, they're going to come and crush us anyway. Yeah, when? And then when they come, I make common card, whatever. All he had to do was pay tribute. Here you go. Here's a little bit of something. Even though the only reason I watched the movie again because I love the thing where he kicks the guy into the pit. I might do that, but then I'm running and hiding. So my point is, UFC Fight Night London, MMA, I'm prone to panic. I don't say that MMA is back, but I've seen that Keith, also known as Sean Shelby, the guys at WME, maybe they've got a plan. You spend $4.2 billion, you might have a plan on something. You might have a plan on something for something. That's it. The show's over. I got to go to jiu-jitsu. I'm sorry it went late. But I didn't have, with 3 picks on the card, I didn't have that, it's not like it's going to be a long show anyway. So anyway, if you're in San Francisco, show up at the chapel tonight. Text me. I'll give you the quiz. I'll get you in house. I don't think we go on until 9 o'clock. So it's an early night if you have work the next day, which I do. So don't worry about getting late. I'll write the intro for it for Kid Nate later. Also, I'm going to put the link down below. So those of you who finally care about the kind of music that it is that I'm talking about with this, and then when I'm talking about music, can see that I'm actually not sort of fucking around with the music thing. So I'll put a link directly with the debut of the Oxbow's first ever music video for Cold and Well Lit Place. And lo and behold, one of the listeners of Knuckle Up actually has a radio show in England, in London. I was like all mocking the guy, radio show, Jack. Yeah, anybody listen to your fucking show? Your show. Yo, you got a show. And my guitar player is like, well, hey, man, maybe somebody from the BBC is emailing us. Like, BBC? The fuck? Another person wants a show on a Sunday? His producer called us. I'm not going to out him name-wise. I was like, oh, shit. Actually, this is a dude who took a photograph in a magazine about how much he liked the fight book. And I thought, oh, man, I'm going to email the guy because he likes the fight book. We should fucking. So I email him, nothing. Email him, nothing. I go, it can't be the same guy. He's commenting all the time. I was like, hey, man, why don't you answer my emails? In the comments, I ask him, nothing. And then he says, okay, here's the song. So I guess he had to have proof of concept that we did. Saw the video, liked it. And then I'm being all hostile, like, I want you to just play it off the video because I know you're going to thoroughly fuck us and download it and then sell it. And I was like, look, I'm not in the thoroughly fucking Oxbow business. I just want to play the song out my show on Sunday. So he's playing. If you're in London, I don't know the name of the show because I'm not listening to BBC Radio. I listen to news, BBC News. But anyway, I got to go train right now. So thanks for listening. Follow me now that I've unlocked the Twitter thing at Eugene S. Robinson. I put the Aussie pieces up there, put Oxbow News up there, and I put Scabrous. People, hey, you can count on being upset. Pretty much, you get in a cab with Eugene S. Robinson, something bad's going to happen. But it'll be fun. But if you're expecting me to take care of feelings, nah, I'm not taking care of anybody's feelings. So also, if you're on Instagram, Mr. Sleep 3. But if you don't have any posts on your own account, forget it. I assume you're a spy. And if you do that cute thing like, I got a privacy setting. I got the privacy setting. You came to me. You're fucking okay it, or you just sit in this Netherland, this misty climb. And man, talk about misty climbs. We'll talk about some of this later on Tuesday on If I Did It. But my boja moi, there have been some bold, crazy misty things said all over the place. Specifically, I mean, I already talked about Aljamain Sterling, and I'm not going to get into it now. I don't want to tip my hand. Anyway, I got to go train. I was tapped yesterday by a white belt. It was phenomenal because I'm always torturing these guys. I'm always fucking around with them, you know, and I'm like, okay, come on, kid. And I'm like laying out, letting the guy mount me, and I'm on the back, and I'm like not taking it seriously. And then he goes for the knee bar, and I'm like, oh shit. He's got like 13 seconds left. I'm like, uh-oh, he's actually really trying this. And then my right leg is screwed up. It gets my right leg. I'm like, I tried to screw out. And I can feel him like he's a white belt. He doesn't know enough. He's going to just, and he's not been training with us. So he's been training somewhere else. I tapped and I was like, oh, you really got me. And he's like, try not to smile. I go, no, enjoy this. And he's like trying to wander off. I go, where you going? We're going the next round too. And the next round I had to just show him, like he fully expected me to go crazy on him. I didn't. It went normally, but I wanted to put him in that position again so I could work on my defense for it because that's what he revealed to me. And of course, he didn't get it again. But oh boy, I was fired up yesterday. But the thing is, got to control your emotions. That's what it's about. And this show is for Chuck Berry. Round number 272 for Chuck Berry. And if you've listened to old Knuckle Ups, you know my Chuck Berry bathroom stories, or as well as my Chuck Berry song stories, as well as my Chuck Berry yanking out the bass players, a chord and kicking them off stage in the middle of the show, that kind of shit. 90 years old, that guy had a good run, Jet. Good. So play some Chuck Berry today. Anyway, the show's over. We'll see you on Tuesday. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Look what you made me do!